Thanks for coming. My name is Laurent Timmermans. I'm a Belgian citizen, but living in Hong Kong for more than 7 years now. So I have my company as well called ATHENASIA Consulting that we set up in 2012. And well, today we'll be talking about how to open a limited company, but not only how to open it, but how to maintain it. Okay, so this is really important. Like, you will find many workshops that tells you how to open a company, but here we'll also talk about what you have to do after. You know, because this is important to know when you want to start your business, to know, okay, how much it will cost me, what I have to do afterwards. Yeah. So first thing about ATHENASIA, so my company is it's a management consulting company. We are based in Hong Kong. We work with 3 main areas. We work with business plans, that's how we started. Company setup and maintenance, that's what we are talking about today. And also we help company with IPO services. So company that want to go public, we help them with business plans, outsource CFO, and also we can provide NEDs, which is a non-executive director, as well as compliance officer. So afterwards, if you want to receive this PowerPoint, make sure you leave me a business card or your contact, and I will mail it to you tomorrow. Okay, if you don't have tomorrow, send me an email here at laurent@athenasia.com and you get it. Okay. We are also Zero certified and Zero partner. So if you want to integrate your accounting with the Zero software, we can help you with that. Oh, sorry. Some people were taking pictures. Okay, I go back. Got it? Okay, fine. So the agenda for today. First, we'll talk about Hong Kong. Why should you even care about Hong Kong? Why does it make sense to set up a company here? We'll talk as well about an overview, so the overview about what you have to do when you set up your company and what is the things you have to do in terms of maintenance and accounting, etc. We'll be talking about the opening itself, the legal maintenance, the accounting and tax in details. Okay. So who lives in Hong Kong here? Okay, maybe the opposite question. Who doesn't live in Hong Kong? Okay, good. So many know. So why Hong Kong? So if I ask you the question, why do you think it's a good idea to set up your company in Hong Kong? Tax, okay. What else? Setup cost is low, yeah. What else?
Regulations.
Yeah, the regulations are quite easy, I would say, to understand. What else? No? So I will pass a small video that wraps up really quickly, like why Hong Kong is a good place to be. And then after, I will give you my personal opinion. Okay, so there are many reasons, but if you want to wrap up to the key reason to me, the first one is a bit what you said before with the regulation. I mean, Hong Kong is an easy place to make business. It's easy to understand. As I told you before, I'm from Belgium. Belgium is a nightmare in terms of regulations, administrative papers that you have to fill in all the time, tax, etc. Here is really, really simple. So that's one of the main reasons for me. I think like it's a really nice and easy place to make business. The other thing is it's a genuine business place. So we talked about tax before, like it's a good place for tax. Yes, it's also there, but it's also a genuine business place. I mean, there is, 7 to 8 million people living in Hong Kong. You know, there's something happening. I mean, you can walk the street, you will see the buildings, you will see the businesses here. It's not a 30,000 island lost somewhere in the middle of an ocean with a million companies registered in the same address, actually, same office almost. I'm not targeting any places, but yeah, okay. So it's a genuine business place. So that's something that is quite important. How come this is not working? Attractive tax structure. So I'm not saying like just tax. It's just an attractive tax structure. What I mean by that is like we have to pay tax in Hong Kong. It's not 0% tax, but actually it's quite a good news in a way. I wouldn't like to be in a place where it's 0% tax because then we fall under tax heaven kind of jurisdiction. When actually Hong Kong is kind of borderline still. It's not really considered a tax heaven in every country. Because actually it's not, I'm sorry, but 16.5% is not like nothing, you know. It's a really good tax rate, but it's not nothing. If you compare to, in Europe, you could go to Ireland, where at the moment 0% tax. You could go to Malta, where yes, you will pay 35%, but at the end you just pay 5%. I don't think it will last forever, by the way, because they are part of the European Union. But yeah, it's a good place. We pay a bit, but not too much, and it makes things easier, I think. And the tax structure is easy to understand. We'll talk about it a bit later today. The other thing is that China is next door. I mean, we take a train or something, you know, in 1 hour we are in Shenzhen, you know, we can actually source products there, we can do business, we can develop prototypes, we can find factories, etc. Or we can simply find products. So as we said before, there's many people that come to Hong Kong for Amazon shops. They go to China, buy stuff there, you know, sell it to the US. And yeah, so that's a good place for them to be here for sourcing purpose, basically. Good financial system. I mean, we have banks in Hong Kong that works, that have proper agreements with different countries, so we can actually use our bank account. There are other places, or yes, you can have a company in one of those islands, but the banks, you can't do much with it. Okay, I don't want to go into specificities here, but in Hong Kong, we have a good financial system. Then, yeah, the banks are not perfect. I mean, if any of you has a corporate bank account with some of the Hong Kong bank, most likely you have stuff to complain about, you know. But it works. I mean, we have a proper financial system. Then we have the labor cost. If you plan to grow the company here, if it's not just a financial entity, if you plan to have staff here, I mean, the price is not expensive to hire people. What I mean by that is like, if I want to hire an admin in my country, I want to pay that person, let's say, 12,000 Hong Kong dollars, okay, net for her to spend. I will have to spend 2 to 3 times this amount in social security, in retirement funds, in different types of tax for her to earn this amount. When here you want to pay somebody 12,000 bucks, you just pay 12,000, 5% more of MPF. That person will have to pay her contribution as well, 5%, and here we are. Okay, so that's what I mean by relatively low cost for the staff. It's safe and stable. I mean, you could argue that China is next door and there is more and more pressure, etc., of China, but actually China needs Hong Kong. We know it, and basically it's, even if China is sometimes a bit invasive in Hong Kong, I mean, it doesn't really affect too much the business so far. So I think it's quite a stable and safe place to be. And the crime rate, etc. I mean, we are good here in Hong Kong. Nothing to complain about. And then it's a central place in Asia. I mean, we have the airport there, you know, that is actually international airport. You can take a plane to anywhere in 5 hours. You are anywhere in Asia almost. So I think to me that's the key reasons for Hong Kong. Now a quick overview about the whole process of having a company in Hong Kong. And you will see when we say it's simple, it's simple. The first thing now is that who already have a company here? Okay, 1 and 2, okay. So if you don't have a company, well, the first step obviously is to set it up. So company setup, which is quite easy. We'll talk about it later on. After that, you have to wait around a year. I mean, you can, if you really want, you know, you can do your accounting in an ongoing manner. But basically, at the end of 1 year, what you have to do is your legal maintenance and your accounting. So what is the legal maintenance? It's like you have to renew a couple of services that we'll talk about later on today. Like such as a business registration, you have to fill in your annual return and so on. I will demystify the whole thing later on. I will tell you what it is exactly. You need a company secretary, a registered address, etc. The accounting, audit and tax is like every limited company in Hong Kong needs to have its account audited, first made and second audited, and then you have to fill in a tax return, okay? And this you have to do it at the end of the year. So at the end of 1 year, you will have to do your accounting, audit and tax, and you will have to renew your legal maintenance basically for the next year. That's the 2 things to do every year. And after, this is the 2 things you do all the time. So every year is maintain your company legally and do your accounting, audit and tax, okay? So let's start with the company setup. What are the requirements? Well, number 1, you need 1 shareholder. Okay, so the shareholder is basically the owner of the company. Okay, so just 1. So not 2, 3. I know that in certain countries, mine included, certain corporate structure require you to have 2 or 3 shareholders. Here, 1 is enough. You need 1 director. The director can be the same as the shareholder. That basically means that you can be sole shareholder, sole director of your company. It sounds quite cool, actually. You can be a sole shareholder, sole director, chairman of the board of directors, you know. And basically, this is all you, okay? But you can do that in Hong Kong. The other thing is you need a share capital, okay? And the share capital in Hong Kong is just $1 minimum. So that doesn't mean you cannot have more, but the minimum is $1. Okay. This is really important because in many countries you have to have much more. In my country, I think if I remember well, because I left Belgium like almost 10 years ago, is around 21,000 euros capital for the basic structure that offer you a limited liability. Because this is what we are talking about here. It's a limited company. So as you are a resident, you may be considering, you know, limited company or sole proprietorship. What is a limited company? It's a company that limits your liability to the initial capital that you're investing in this company. That means what? Let's say you put $10,000. It's kind of the common practice in Hong Kong. You put $10,000 in your company as capital, and then let's say 3 years from now the company doesn't do well. You know, you have some debt with some suppliers or something, the bank, whatever. You close the company. Unless you really did something bad as a director in the company, you are only liable to the $10,000 you put in the company. Okay? So they cannot go after your personal assets. We cannot go after your house, after your car, after your holiday house, your yacht in the Bahamas, whatever. Your chalet in Swiss. No, Switzerland, sorry. That's my French that's just kicking. You know. Do we have some French here? Or French speakers that are not French? Yeah, we have as well. Okay, cool. From Belgium, anybody? It never happened to me, but you know. Yeah, we are like kind of not too many. So where are you guys from if you're not from France? Ireland. Right? Ireland. Ireland. And you speak French? Oh, okay. Yeah, so here the minimum is 1 Hong Kong dollars, which means your personal liability is limited to $1. Okay, so it's quite sweet. Now, sometimes you will be required to put more than $1 or $10,000. Okay, so for example, I'm now creating a business plan with a company that is creating education center in Hong Kong, and the landlord has to have a minimum capital of $300,000 to give the tenancy to that person. Okay, so sometimes you will have external pressure that asks you to put a higher capital. I got a client that did something really not smart. I didn't incorporate him because it's really not smart. I would not advise anybody to do that. He put himself a share capital of $1 million US. Yes, he did it. What that means? That means he is liable until $1 million US. So if anything screw up is in his company, it has to go in his pocket and go up to $1 million. So it's really not smart. Don't do that unless you are required to because of your industry or whatever. Okay. Other things you need is registered address. So you need a place where your business is registered. It can be, so the common question is like, yes, it can be a home. No, it's a bad idea. Okay. Why it's a bad idea? Because that's what you will put on your business card. So I don't know you, but I don't want everybody to know where I live. You know, I have a little girl, I have my wife, and so on. You know, you don't know to who you are giving your business card. So to me, it's like no way. So don't. That's the first reason. The second reason not to do it is like, imagine I live in a village in Sai Kung. Okay, it's true. So imagine if I give my card and that's my registered address. Okay, so my business is registered in a village in Sai Kung. Okay, that's a new territory. I mean, it's like, it doesn't sound professional, right? So you can get a registered address in a central area. It's much better, commercial building. Now the good news, it doesn't have to be an office space that you are renting. It can just be an address. So for example, Win do a virtual office here. I think so. You do? Yeah. So they do virtual address, which means what? Is like officially your business is set up here. Okay. So you have your address here, but you are never here. Okay. So they keep all your mails and so on. They tell you when they receive a mail for you, and they just inform you. And you can put that on your business card. So you can say, oh, my office is in Wyndham Street, or if you are more fancy, in IFC or something. You know.